Hello everyone, I hope this video is finding you in a great place in life. Welcome to the video. I'm going to be going over my Faction Wars team that I actually used to beat Bannerlords Stage 21. This is a fully auto-friendly team. I would say it is relatively free-to-play friendly since there are some champions on this list that are legendary, that kind of thing. But they can be easily substituted for other champions with inside of the faction. So let's go ahead and go in here and go over the champions real quick first. First champion I'm going to cover is Helior. This guy is not really booked at all, but he is a phenomenal champion for Faction Wars even without being booked. So basically on his A1 he's increasing his own defense and healing himself after a period of time. He's got an AoE shield on his A2. Which when booked down, it actually lasts for 2 turns, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown, so it's a very solid skill. And then he has a cleanse, which also converts his resistance into additional accuracy when using the skill. On top of that, whenever an ally with 2 or more debuffs is attacked, he actually absorbs some of the damage. So I have him built in a shield set so that he can be used in my arena team. He has honestly pretty trash statistics. He's only got 177 speed, 284 resistance, which at the time I built him I thought was amazing, and only 3400 defense, so nothing too crazy. The next champion I used is going to be Black Knight. All these champions are actually built the same way as when I originally used them to clear the dungeon, by the way. I didn't really change much apart from Black Knight here. I did change some of his build. So he's got a provoke on the A1, which is great for turn meter control, or not turn meter control, sorry, crowd control. He's got a continuous heal and a increased defense on a 2-turn cooldown for 2 turns on his A2. Basically that means it's always going to be up. There's no 1-turn gap like there is with 3-turn cooldown skills. And then his A3, I'd honestly recommend just turning off because it basically does no damage. He's an HP based champion. This does damage based on attack. His base attack is absolutely horrendous. These are his stats, so 65k HP, 74 crit rate. I don't even have him crit capped, even though I have crit rate gloves on him. 185 accuracy, which I do need to actually increase a little bit because I'm trying to use this guy in Doom Tower and such. And then 2700 defense. Nothing too crazy. That should be a very attainable build for basically anyone using this champion. If you're at a point where you have Black Knight and you have him booked out and everything, I imagine you'd have gear very similar, if not better. Ursula the Mourner. This beauty is going to be the champion that you actually see in the thumbnail of this video. She is bloody phenomenal. Again, she's not really built out the best. I built her earlier on in the game and kind of left her there. So this champion has a decreased turn meter on the A1, and then she has an AoE decrease attack as well as an AoE increase attack on your team. This isn't booked down, but it is still a very useful skill. And then her A3, of course, is an AoE revive with 75% HP and a 50% filled turn meter. And then she also places an increased defense and a strengthened buff. So honestly, she is one of the best revivers in the game, bar none. And then she has an ally speed in Doom Tower battles, so she's definitely not a bad champion. The way I have her built out is 55k HP, 2900 defense, 187 speed, and about 300 resistance. The resistance isn't crucial, but it definitely can be useful for the faction. You know, just allowing you to get through the ads and the waves and everything like that a little bit more uncontested. I would probably recommend building her with a bit more speed for anyone who's trying this build. More speed is going to allow you to get the turn meter decrease as well as decrease attack. The next champion here is actually going to be another phenomenal champion from Doom Tower, actually. Doom Tower normal when you do some secret rooms. So way back in the day, Bannerlords used to be one of my weakest factions, actually, and I was very worried about trying to complete the Faction Wars because I could only get to, like, stage 10. It was terrible. And then I started getting champions like Ursula and Stag Knight and stuff like that, and now it's amazing. He fills his own turn meter if it's critical. He has an AoE stun potential -1 target, so it's 75% chance of a stun if it's critical. And then he places an increased speed, increased crit rate, and increased crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. He's also immune to turn meter decreasing effects. He is an amazing champion, ally speed in arena battles by 17%. Not that good of an aura, to be honest. But overall, this guy is absolutely amazing. And then the last champion I used is Stag Knight, of course. So everybody should know Stag Knight by now. He has an AoE, decreased defense, and decreased attack. Sadly, it's not even on a 100% chance, though. It is on a 95 base chance, but you can put Sniper on him, I believe it is. There's something. Nope. Yeah, sniper. So you'd put that on him. I don't actually have it on him, oddly enough. I haven't built out for a bit more of a damage roll. He actually does do that quite well. He can hit pretty hard. This is how he's built out. So he has a lot of HP at 57,000, 2,800 defense, 213 speed. So he is the fastest, hopefully. I don't know what Archmage was at. I didn't actually show his stats. I'll have to go back to that. And then he has 317 accuracy. So these are the stats for Archmage. He's the same speed as Stag Knight. A lot more accuracy, though, and a little bit less defense. Masteries for everyone. I have a lot of them built out for damage as well as just survival. And as you can see here, like Black Knight doesn't even have a 6th tier mastery. So this is definitely a replicatable roster that you can use to get through the Bannerlord's faction crypts. Other great champions I'd recommend would actually be Lord Champfort. He has very Vergis-esque skill where he's placing a shield on himself, an AoE decreased attack and accuracy, and then a decreased defense on his A1. So he can actually solo a lot of content in the game. If you do have him, I'd recommend building him. You'd get a lot of use out of him in somewhere like Scarab King as it is. Killian the Lucky is actually a pretty decent champion as well. This guy is kind of getting dogged on by a lot of content creators and stuff, but he does have a decent amount of crowd control, as well as this. When it places a block damage or strengthen on himself, it is actually a pretty strong skill. Of course, if you have really any of the legendaries from this faction, you're pretty much set, with the exception of Lugan. He's not that good, in my opinion at least. As far as epics go, Ursala is amazing. Gizcard here is actually very good for crowd control, and then he also has an increased defense and increased attack on your team as well. Sir Artemage is apparently a very good damage dealer. I haven't really built him out yet, but I hear good things. I have Lady Quillen on one of my free-to-play referral accounts, and she's actually pretty fun to use. You can get some decent use out of her as well. Oathbound is another good CC champion if you don't have anyone else. Horden can hit very hard. Lordly Legionary is honestly kind of trash. I wouldn't recommend wasting your books or anything like that on him, but if you did already, make that mistake and you have this skill book down, he could definitely be another way to go. As for the rares, there honestly isn't a whole lot in this faction that I'd recommend. Dagger can be a good champion to put your decreased defense, but it is on a 75% chance, so it's not very consistent at all. Regardless of what people want to say, 75% chances to land debuffs in this game just really isn't consistent enough in today's meta. You might also get a little bit of use out of her later on in the game when you're trying to beat the hard Doom Tower, I believe it is, where it's rare champions only. And then there's rare void champions, and then I believe there's also a rare attack champions only, so she could be useful in both of those spots. The rest of the rares here, though, honestly, in my opinion, wouldn't really recommend them. If I missed someone in this faction, go ahead and let me know down in the comments. I am thinking, for anyone who stuck around this far in the video, I'm going to sneak a little game code down in the description there for you guys. So if you have Steam, go ahead, go into the description, claim that game. It's going to be a nice reward for people who watch the video and people who stick around to the end. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe-ish, and I'll see you next time.